And welcome back from that short commercial break. Once again, this is the Shinhan Tank Proleague. If you don't know what we are a community-run tournament. Well, I run the tournament, but it's on the Teamliquid community. The idea is people play under the aliases of their favorite players, and they have like the anonymity, so people don't know what skill level they are. And it's all about getting people playing again, playing in teams, practicing together, and playing maps that aren't Fighting Spirit, as well as Fighting Spirit, of course, because Fighting Spirit is in the map pool. But so far, this is going to be the fourth match of the STPL, and this is the losers match from the preseason. You are looking at the results screen so far. We have SK Telecom 1-1 against Winged Stars. Go Rush taking the first game in a ZVZ against Sulky in a somewhat commanding fashion, and Free edging over Best to tie up the set 1-1 on La Mancha. So we're now going to move on to the third game you'll see today, and it is going to be a TVP between FanTaSy and Flying. If you just let me load up the game quickly, and then we can move on, because we of course have to go through the players, who they are, and how they're doing. Of course, the first player we do have FanTaSy. He lost his first game against Tempest in the SKT KT match, so this is somewhat of a match to gain his pride again. FanTaSy being one of the best players of all time, no bias. Of course, winning an OSL, coming second in a few, but he was a Pro League beast for SKT. Best was as well, of course, so the player who plays Best is going to have to pick up his game. He knows and he's doing his best, so if he keeps practicing he'll do fine. FanTaSy, obviously one of the ace players for SKT, is going to have to come out here today, hopefully show a better game, and see if he can avenge himself for last time. And he will get his chance against yet another Protoss, because he's up against Wounded Stars Flying. Flying actually won his first game. I can't remember exactly who he played, but he won, and that's the important thing. He did help his team win his first game. Oh, sorry, he was one of the 2 wins out of the 3-2 loss that Stars had against Oz. Oz proving to be a very, very powerful team, going even with KT in the final match, and obviously sadly I don't have the replay, but as I mentioned earlier, they did go up 3-2 in the end. Saber did beat his opponent, and they actually won preseason. So Flying showing that he's not a pushover, did win his game against Oz, the strongest team so far. So it's going to be up to him now to show if he can beat FanTaSy and take them up 2-1. Of course, the map of choice for this game is alternative. There has only been one game so far on this map, and that was the ZVP between Oz and KT. So it'll be interesting to see how Terran work on this map in STPL. This map was pretty good for Terran in real Pro League, and I mean, it was a fairly even map. It didn't get used all that much. It has got some interesting features like this island base right outside the main. You can shoot the minerals from everywhere, but it'll be interesting to see if FanTaSy does abuse that, because FanTaSy does. Well, I mean, I'm not sure about the player who plays FanTaSy, but in real life FanTaSy was known to use dropships quite a lot in all 3 matchups. So he could use his dropships here and get some SCVs up there, or even just float a base up there. That's one of the benefits of Terran. But of course you do have these minerals blocking it, so he will have to move an SCV up there first. But of course it's up to see how they do, and what's going to happen with the game. It could go either way, and this could, in the end, decide exactly what happens with the final game of today. Well, not the final game of today, but it'll see how SKT and Stars fare in the entire tournament. So both players obviously going to be doing their best here to win for their team. And just going to go to the intro one more time, and then we'll get going. Both players ready, of course, both teams 1-1, all to play for here, and let's get going. And I just realised the set image window isn't opening fully again, so there we go. Now you got the nice logo. It looks like we... oh, wrong button. We do have flying at the top of the map, spending a while to actually send his probes to mine. And something very interesting straight off the bat, he's sending one of his first probes straight out from his mining, so he's actually going to be doing something really cheesy here. FanTaSy may scout this, may not, depending on how he reacts is going to decide the outcome of the game. We of course, we do now have FanTaSy in the bottom and flying at the top of the map, and it looks like flying was actually drinking before his game, which is somewhat against Kesper rules, so he needs to be careful with what he's doing. But and here we go, there's the pylon. So he is going to be doing some proxy shenanigans, and this looks like it could be over very quickly. FanTaSy may see it. I don't know if he saw that with his vision. I'll check his vision, but I'm not sure if he saw that. No, he didn't. He just about missed it. So he is he's moving to build his wall off here, and this is going to be devastating. The gateway's going up. He's not opting to add any gas, he's still just starting on probes right now, of course. Gonna go for zealots. Will he add on a second gateway? I don't know, but he's asking if FanTaSy's go-to. Of course he is. He did win an OSL, so yeah, it looks like he's now going to send a second probe to make it look like he's scouting at normal time. And this is a very, very clever tactic. The gateway is nearly finished. FanTaSy still hasn't scouted anything. He's now on 12 supply, so he's going to add on his gas. And he's not going to have anything to defend this. All he's going to have is SCVs and 1 or 2 Marines, depending on... There comes the Zealot, so depending on how long Free actually waits, FanTaSy's going to do his best to actually block this probe from coming in the base. So his attention's divided even more, and he can't actually go and scout the base of flying, so he's not going to see this coming whatsoever. He's been completely blindsided by this gateway, and there's not really much he can do. Flying's probe actually getting quite low on shield. FanTaSy's going to try and chase it, but he still thinks someone's coming that way. The zealots in the base now. The probe's going to help try and weaken some SCVs, and the Marine is going to come up soon. But FanTaSy just has to do what he can. He's trying to block the zealot in and try and kill it with SCVs so he can't target it down, but he's having a lot of trouble here. That even the probe is giving him trouble, and here comes the second zealot. This is all going to come down to sheer micro. FanTaSy not giving up, of course. The Marines coming in, and the zealots could move and get it, but it looks like he's blocking it really well with his SCVs. The zealots are actually, one zealot goes down without actually losing any, only losing a few SCVs, and the second zealot's getting low on health, and the Marine's being attacked, but the zealot goes down, and the second Marine's in. It looks like he could have defended this. The third zealot's going to move down, but it's still dangerous. It's still crunch time. This zealot, he needs to block it, and he's blocked it again with the SCVs. Oh my god, this is so tense. It looks like the Marine just about gets away with 1 health. He's going to try and mana pile on all these SCVs in, but he kills the probe, and it looks like he's successfully defended it. He's got nothing at home to defend. He's trying to build a pylon, but of course FanTaSy can't actually move out and attack. This pylon has actually blocked in one of the SCVs, but it's actually going to help FanTaSy. The fourth zealot, I do believe, is completely surrounded by SCVs, and is very low on health. It's going to run away. The Marine's now just killing this pylon. He's going to wait for another zealot to come in, but with no shields and no health. It looks like FanTaSy may have successfully defended this with pure micro, and with this pylon going down, it's actually going to... it's not going to supply block him, he's fine, but these 2 zealots are moving down, and it's all still to play for. 1 zealot goes straight down, 3 Marines on their own are enough to take care of the zealot. But he's going to once again try and block off the zealot with his SCVs, and he does. He traps the zealot, and oh my god, that's 5 or 6 zealots flying used to kill very little. And there's the GG. He doesn't have anything to even defend the gateway anymore. The 7th zealot comes out, but with 4 Marines down here, he wouldn't do any more damage. And a really well played game by FanTaSy is going to take SKT up again 2-1 against Stars. So well played by him. That's actually one of the tensest games I've casted so far. So I hope you enjoyed that anyway. I'll just go to another quick commercial break to give me time to sort things, and then we'll get going.